Last night, President Trump announced his pick for Supreme Court, nominating conservative Judge Neil Gorsuch. Joining us this morning to talk more about what the confirmation could mean for the landscape of the nation's highest court is Professor Jilda Aliotta from the University of Hartford. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Let's start off with a little bit more about Gorsuch. Who is he? We do know that he's conservative. Give us a more about his background.
Okay. Well, he's been on the Court of Appeals for a number of years, about 10 years now. So he has a record at the Court of Appeals. It seems like the area where he's made the biggest footprint is in terms of religious liberty. He is a strong advocate or a strong supporter of religious liberty, both in terms of people bringing forth free exercise claims and also religious free speech claims.
I was going to say another big case is the Hobby Lobby case that was brought against the government in regard to the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, and that was basically a religious free exercise case. The Hobby Lobby was arguing that as a family-held corporation that was basically tried to live through and conduct its business with faith-based values, it was an infringement on their religious liberty to require that they provide certain kinds of contraceptive coverage.
Now, was this a surprising pick? I think President Trump had a little bit of a different way of going about this nomination. We saw a list of people that it could possibly be. Obviously, Gorsuch was on this list. But was it a little bit surprising in the way that it was announced, the way that it came about?
Well, it was a little bit unusual, but not unprecedented. Chief Justice Roberts' appointment was announced by former President Bush in prime time on a nationally televised conference. What was a little surprising for me is that Judge Gorsuch was such a conventional choice. We've gotten rather accustomed, even in the last week and a half, to this president sort of acting unconventionally. And there was a lot of speculation that he was going to appoint someone who would be sort of have a different background for a Supreme Court justice.
Right.
We will now have yet another Harvard graduate on the Supreme Court. I mean, I'm not criticizing Judge Gorsuch's credentials. They are impeccable. But the idea of using this as an opportunity to diversify the kind of legal education, the kind of background. There was some talk that perhaps someone would be picked from a state's high court rather than from the federal court of appeals. And the president went for the conventional choice, very strong choice, but also a very conventional choice.
And now we only have time, unfortunately, for one more question. And I just have to ask, if he is confirmed, and we know that it could be a contentious battle, if he is confirmed, what does this do to the court?
Well, it basically takes the court back to where it was before Justice Scalia died, assuming that what we've read about Judge Gorsuch and what we know about his record on the Court of Appeals holds true for the Supreme Court. It will basically take us back where there will be 4 reliable conservatives plus Justice Kennedy, who is the middle, called the swing, who tends to swing right more than he swings left. Where President Trump could have a real impact is if there is a second vacancy during his term.
All right. Well, thank you for breaking it all down for us and being with us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome.